So the One Ring from the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings set, Tales of Middle-Earth, the one of one has been pulled, and depending on whether or not this person decides to sell the graded copy because he or she got it graded, they're goofy. They are definitely goofy because if they choose to sell this card, they basically had they were sitting on a golden goose, a golden egg that they didn't realize they had. And I'm pretty sure they just squandered every opportunity to just cash out on this because this only pertains if they're selling the card. If this is for their collection, this literally does not matter at all. But at the price this card is at, and from the people who have been claiming that this is their card, they've all been talking about selling it. So whoever's the real person who pulled this, we'll see if they actually sell it. But this is going into the couple of reasons why they royally screwed this opportunity up for them. This doesn't even really go into like the grading company they chose. You can argue all day which they should have gone with to grade this card because Beckett was holding their own deal where if you graded this card with them, not only were they going to do it for free, because I guarantee you PSA probably charged this guy $10,000, $20,000 to grade this card. I don't think they did it for free. There was nowhere they advertised that they were going to grade it for free, where Beckett would have, and they would have given this person, I believe it was a custom artwork, a one-of-one artwork, one-of-one case that you could only get with this, which would go for thousands by themselves with this card, as well as different promotional items, free grades with Beckett, whatever it may be. Whatever you think of Beckett, their grades are solid. The customer service is what's really holding them back. But you can't argue with the grades that they give out, I think. Same with PSA. Those completely aside, the first problem I noticed with selling this card is whoever graded it got the actual grade tied to the card. Mint 9. Now, for those of you who don't understand how this works, you can choose when you grade an item with PSA and get it encapsulated whether or not to have a grade tied to it, like a PSA 9, a Mint 9, or a Gem Mint 10. You can decide whether or not that's on the card, or if you just want to tell if the card is real or not. You can tell PSA, can you just authenticate this item for me? And instead of the grade being on it, you'll just see authentic up here. This was the first thing that was really glaring to me. When there's only one of this card in the world, actually attaching a grade to it is just going to bring the value down, especially if it just hits a 9 like this. Because, well, why is it a 9? This is the only one in the world. Where are the other examples to compare this card to? At this point, just get the card authenticated for the purpose of selling it, and this will fetch. It'll still fetch a lot of money for what this card is worth, but it'll fetch and garner a lot more attention because the amount of people I've seen who have pointed out, oh, it's a PSA 9, it's a PSA 9, is freaking ridiculous, dude. Just get the card authenticated. That was all you had to do, but it has, of course, the Mint 9 tied to it. The second major glaring issue, and this would have set this man up for life, whoever pulled this card right here, is that they had it graded in the first week of this set dropping. Some of you might be a bit confused about what I mean by this, but if this guy's goal is to just make money off the card, if he sells it for $2 million, he could have gotten so much more than that if he just played the market for collector booster boxes. He pulled the one-of-one card in the set, the only one that will ever exist. The only thing he had to do was put it into his vault, put it into a vault, into a safety deposit box, and not tell another person ever until 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the future. And while he waits that time to get it graded, he could have picked up pallets, cases, any amount of collector booster boxes and control the market with it. Because the prices of collector booster boxes have already plummeted since this card has been revealed. Like, there's no one wants to really open the set apart from the hardcore players who are speculating in some of the cards to use in their decks right now because the set is still brand new and they're figuring out the meta for Commander. The actual collector price of that box has drastically fallen when the guy could have put it into a safety deposit box and just picked up collector booster boxes one after another. He was controlling the trend analysis, the market tied to this card right here, and he just squandered that. He could have literally have kept this card as a grail and made all the money he wanted for the rest of his life off collector booster boxes if he played it right. And of course, I guess he didn't want to do that because He just revealed him having the card right here by getting it graded. And lastly, going back to a point I didn't really want to cover because I think it's a bit petty and silly to even talk about it, but the case of grading from both PSA and Beckett legitimately comes down to a value perspective. Whether or not this card was in a PSA slab or a Beckett slab is irrelevant in the long run. It's going to sell for 2 million plus. People have already offered or are making offers of $1 million for this card just to have it raw, nonetheless in a slab. The slab is really irrelevant at that point. In that case, the value perspective of what Beckett was offering for their deal was freaking ridiculous, guys. They were offering like $50,000 worth of value in their offer for whoever graded with them. Not only are you saving the $10,000 to $20,000 from the grading fee, which I guarantee you PSA charged this guy to get graded, they were grading it for free, Beckett. They were giving him that one-of-one art print, the case, which is another couple of $1,000s. He was getting a free Willy Wonka ride to Beckett's grading center in Plano, Texas, to have the card with him in hand, so he doesn't have to worry about shipping it off or whatever it may be in the mail. I'm not sure if he did that. I'm gonna assume he did because this was kept on the down low. No one said they were going to Texas to have it graded. PSA never made an announcement. It just was in the registry and it's probably being sent back to him or her as we speak. The tickets, the travel fees, the booster boxes, the collector booster boxes that Beckett is going to give you for pulling this card for each future Magic the Gathering set, along with all the additional grading fees that you won't have to pay in the future, free grading that they're giving you, that was over $50,000 worth of value, guys. I don't care what anyone says, you will find someone who would have paid $50,000 for all of these little things added up. And that's the value attributed to it. That is what? That's like 5% of the value of this card's gonna sell for, the $2 million, and that's 5% just gone right there. I'm gonna sound a bit toxic right here. I guarantee you the person who graded this card the way it was, and this isn't hard stuff, guys. This is like basic stuff you can really go anywhere and understand. There's so many people in my discords saying these exact same things laid out, one by one, and it's not hard to add up what's going to happen. Whoever did it this way, I guarantee you is going to be one of those lottery winners who wins the lottery, is going to say, oh, I don't care about the money. They care about the money now. They're going to sell the card, and they'll be broke in 2 years once all that money is dried up because they didn't get like an accountant to keep track of it. That's going to be this guy right here. Anyways, what do you think? I personally think this was a huge blunder. It's going to still sell for a lot of money, but I guarantee you that money's going to be dried up in 2 years. Thanks for watching.